Give me that Devo gun! Monkey!
Video games have had a consistently wacky and stupid past in regards to film. They've been bad. They've been bad. Then they've been bad. But hey, who am I to tell you that you didn't enjoy the Need for Speed movie or that the Mortal Kombat movie wasn't a huge piece of your childhood? It's still stupid. Sorry. When talking about how these video games are adapted into movies, it's hard not to at least acknowledge the success and evolution of comic book movies, as they've set the groundwork for adapting media in a way that's immensely successful and turned an art form meant for children into one of the most widespread cultural phenomena we've ever encountered. Point being, movies are a big-ass deal, and successfully moving into the film industry is a doable thing. Of course, big game companies in Hollywood were bound to cross paths at some point. Video game film adaptations go back as far as 1993. I was a baby. And I mean, hey, if comic book movies have come as far as they have, it's only logical that video game movies are sailing into a brighter future, right? If you tell me I'm wrong, I'm gonna start fucking screaming. Before I start, I just want to say a few things. I'm really only concerned with domestic live-action adaptations because 1, animated films have their own thing going on with the development process and audience, so it's not really something I want to cover. And 2, different foreign film industries, particularly Japan, are completely different entities. Plus, Japan's attempts at video game and anime adaptations, as well as the current state of just Japanese filmmaking in general, really deserves a video of its own. I'm gonna break this down into 4 different categories via the era they were released in. You have the, hey kids sure like these games era, movies like the infamous Super Mario Bros. That, to its credit, didn't really have a lot to pull from as far as a narrative goes. Double Dragon, which exists, I guess. Street Fighter, a fun, albeit really stupid Jean-Claude Van Damme vehicle.
You're all under arrest.
And Mortal Kombat. I liked it. Then we move into the, shit, what do we do era, where the gaming market kinda sorta blew up exponentially and the demand for films was growing and growing. Companies were desperate to get their IPs on the ground, and directors still believed themselves to be above having to make a film for the sake of appeasing babies, that they just pumped out the wildest shit imaginable. Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Disgusting. Tomb Raider, just throw Anjo in a temple. Resident Evil. God damn it, I said the Boogie Nights guy. This is a completely different person, dude. Whatever, just don't have sex with our lead, okay? Yeah, I don't care enough about this dude to talk about him. Then there's the game is dark so movie is gloomy and stupid era, producing such instant classics as Max Payne. Ooh, fun. Tekken. Ooh, wow, loads of fun. Silent Hill Revelation. Ooh, fun. Fucking real original name. Do you kiss your dentist with that mouth? There really isn't much to say about these other than, I don't know, I guess at least they tried to include the characters in the lore. I don't know what the hell was going on with that Chun-Li movie though. And finally, we've entered the era that I like to call, fuck it, China will watch it. You know what, let's actually get into that. I was sneaking a peek at what the highest grossing video game movies were and was a little perplexed. What? Okay, Detective Pikachu makes sense, I guess. It's a strong IP, universal appeal, but Warcraft? I promise you, I didn't even know they made a Warcraft movie. But the numbers don't lie, right? Well, no. Not all the time, at least. Domestic box office accounts for barely 1/10 of the total revenue stream. I mean, it didn't even make back half what the budget was, and if you're going by my normal standards, that's what I consider a flop. So where's the rest of this money coming from? This huge of an audience didn't just pop up out of thin air. I already ruined the surprise. If you look at the top 10 grossing films, you'll notice that all have been released within the last decade, specifically the last 5 years. And with the exception of Sonic the Hedgehog, China accounts for the majority of the total revenue. And I'm really just trying to emphasize how big a role the Chinese market plays in these films even being made in the first place. Oh wow, I can't believe it was money all along. Cha-ching, bitch. It's kind of annoying how much green is being squeezed out of these movies when they're consistently met with, at best, a mediocre response. And like, I'll level with you, I think ratings are reductive and Rotten Tomatoes can suck my balls. But just take a look at this. These kind of trends don't just happen for no reason. There's obviously some missing piece to this movie puzzle. Realistically, there shouldn't be this insane discrepancy between profitability and fan reception. So here's an obvious question. Why are video games even being adapted into films in the first place? And I know. But let's try and look at this with a little more nuance than that. I don't think they're just making these solely for the sake of expanding their brand. The fan base already exists, and gaming as a whole is just a far away from entirely dominating the entertainment industry. So for me, at least, that doesn't track. Maybe there's aspirations for setting up a movie universe in the vein of the MCU. You know, something that they can keep producing money out of and movies out of. And sure, the Resident Evil series amassed an eensy-weensy stream of $1.2 billion, but I would consider that series more of an RE fanfic than a faithful actual adaptation. Otherwise, there's a real lack of source material to even start to set something like that up, at least in comparison to the massive library of comic books that exist. But behind all of the bells and whistles exist real people doing real work. I really do believe it's never anybody's intention to make a bad film. Yet why is it that subpar quality is essentially a given? And as I've already stated, these movies are making money. They're going to make money. So what harm is there in making an actually good movie? Even if movies haven't been technically good, we've seen things that can work. Costume and character design speaks for itself, and it's something that even the terrible movies do at least a decent job with. The ninjas in Mortal Kombat present a very simplified version of their video game counterparts that doesn't make them feel goofy or out of place. And the whole mechanism behind Goro, even for today's standard, is pretty impressive. The amount of effort that went into correctly emulating the unnerving nature of Silent Hill's monsters and just how meticulously choreographed they were is hard not to appreciate. And even if it does dismiss the purpose of each track, I honestly love the decision to use Akira Yamaoka's original score. Like, this proves that great soundtracks for these games already exist. It doesn't make any sense that you wouldn't take advantage of that, instead of having to license music that nobody wants to hear over these movies anyways. I don't need to hear Rammstein while I'm watching Resident Evil. Just kidding. Of course I need to hear Rammstein. All the time. Always. Mortal Kombat's techno syndrome to this day is still considered the official Mortal Kombat theme. In fact, the whole soundtrack for this movie makes me want to beat someone's ass. But here lies the real key to making a good video game adaptation. Just make a good movie. Give these directors and writers the freedom they need to make a good movie. A solid story, interesting characters, these are things the games already provide a blueprint for. I feel like there's so much yellow tape and like hang-ups from the production company about what stuff needs to be put in the game to appease fan service before the script's even written up. So you end up having the things that help identify the film with the game being prioritized in a way that sacrifices its quality. Take the monsters in Silent Hill, for instance. They're all specific to the games they came from that it feels a little disingenuous to just plop them into this story. An original story that barely has anything to do with the game. Mario's like metal boots helping him bop into the air. The liquors. Yeah, disgusting. It's all fan service at the expense of telling a story that's coherent to the original narrative, or even just a coherent narrative at all. And shouldn't that be the goal of any film in general? A big thing that holds these films back is the pressure of living up to fan expectations that when condensing these 30+ hour games down to a 90-minute movie, stuff just kind of has to be crammed into a movie that it's recognizable enough that gamer babies aren't going to have a meltdown before it's even released. Sometimes these movies are being pulled from a series that has like almost nothing to really take from it. Like, I can't even really fault anybody who worked on the Mario movie because it's a universe that shouldn't exist in the real world setting. Like, it was never going to work. And it really makes me worry that if these are stories that should even be adapted in the first place. So do I think these movies need to exist?
It's too bad they don't have a telethon for fuckface-itis, huh?
The whole film industry has taken a huge blow with this pandemic, especially theaters, that I don't know if it's even necessary anymore. Storytelling in games has even progressed to a point that they're almost cinematic in nature, so there's not much to gain from transplanting that onto the big screen. You've taken the most crucial part of that experience out of the equation, the player. It's the only medium that is defined by the direct interaction with a third party. This isn't even mentioning all the issues with licensing and bureaucratic hurdles, and yet, my juvenile curiosity gets the better of me. I can't help but want to know how certain games would play out on the big screen. And there's something of merit to just getting to experience these stories without having to play a central role in them. Hey, what kind of movie would you make, Cameron? Hey, good question, fart knocker. My very obvious and uninteresting answer is Shenmue. It's grounded and well contained enough that it's a story I feel would work perfectly in a live action setting, but I'm personally pulling on that future anime project opposed to a live action adaptation. I'd love to see a real go at the first Resident Evil. It's not a complex story, just put some B-list actors in the mansion, which would be important. I really want to see that mansion. And give me some gore and body horror. The bar is really low for horror movies. It doesn't have to be some Lynchian art house masterpiece to be good. I was gonna say Metal Gear Solid and Yakuza, but I'm a little late on those. God, how insane would it be to get a Yakuza adaptation directed by Takeshi Kitano, though? I think his style and tone just meshes so perfectly with that series. You just have to convince Kitano that he's literally already in the game and he can't play Kiryu. Just sit this one out, bud, you wonderful little heartbreaker, you. Maybe put Edgar Wright in charge of a Hotline Miami project. That just kind of sounds fun. I think the cool thing about all this is maybe this provides an opportunity to breathe new life into cult classics that never really had their time in the sun, or even titles that just didn't work as a video game in general. I think so long as they steer from trying to adapt games that don't have any business being live action movies, we're gonna be alright. Like, we probably don't ever have to witness a Super Smash Bros. Movie, and we're not gonna have to sit through like Five Nights at Freddy's or Mega Man live. What the fuck? Whew. Hello again, big boys and girls and dogs and All my dogs. Thank you guys so much for sitting through another like 10 minutes of me talking about something stupid. Technically too, this is like a 100 subscriber special. Seriously guys, thank you so much for helping me hit that 100. Hitting 100 was so much fucking harder than hitting 50 for some reason. It didn't make any sense to me. I'm gonna try and keep this from not going on too long, but I want to thank you guys so much again. You know, just keep talking to me about this shit. Keep having conversations with me. I love talking to y'all about this shit. Y'all keep up the support. I'll keep stinking, baby. Bye.